Guys, Meta is giving away millions of dollars in grants for you to wear AI wearables. But if you don't act quick, you might miss the application date. And most people don't know about this, but I'm part of Meta's Small Business Leaders Network, and I've flown up to DC a few times. It's a great community. And in this case, I was able to get approval from the admin to share information about this grant. So make sure you like and subscribe so you can keep up with everything that's happening, both on the negative and positive side, because on this channel, I really want to highlight not just the problems and the disruption that AI brings, but also the opportunities that AI brings, because please believe there will many. At any rate, in this video, we're going to briefly cover the grant, some of the details, and how you can get applied to get paid to wear AI wearables, A. And B, I just want to highlight some of the different examples or use cases to get you thinking outside the box. So right now, and by the way, this could apply to anyone from a multi-state corporation, huge corporation, to a two-person beach cleanup crew. There's a lot of different types of use cases. And again, we're going to cover that in a little bit more detail in just a moment. So at any rate, Meta is looking for two types of applicants or two types of applications in order to get these grants. The first of which is what they call the Impact Accelerator. And these are organizations that are already leveraging AI wearables to scale their impact. And what they're looking for is an organization that can demonstrate active use of AI glasses to drive societal or economic impact. How are you making the world better by wearing AI wearables? And they also want to look for a clear plan or a clear path of how you would leverage this capital injection to scale that impact. The second major player or major applicant they're looking for is the Impact Catalyst Grant. And these are for developers or larger organizations that are proposing new high impact applications using Meta's SDK. So if you essentially fall into any role where you're using AI glasses to innovate and create change, this program is essentially free cash. And by the way, even if you aren't using AI glasses, just kind of paying attention to some of the use cases I think is really interesting. And I'll highlight that in just a moment. But also you might know someone that's using AI glasses in their business or in their nonprofit, etc. Let them know about this program. Listen, there's nothing better than sharing opportunities with your friends, your family, your homies, etc. So with all that said, I'll put a link below so you can get applied. I don't get any reward for this other than knowing that you are winning. And that's what we want in this community, guys. Bringing you fresh videos 6 days a week. Why? So I can help you find the opportunities and win. That's important. I know the more you win, the more I win. We all win together. Regardless, what I would like to highlight here is a few of the potential use cases for these AI wearables, because guys, I get a lot of comments. You guys leave a lot of comments, some great, some not so great. And the other day, someone left this comment basically saying that AI is worthless and AI wearables are worthless and there's no use cases. Guys, there are some use cases that are already happening. I'm going to give you a few of them right now. So the first one, and I think this is huge, is how do we, AI wearables really help people with disabilities, whether those are hearing disabilities or visual disabilities. It gives you more information. So just something like a real-time environmental narration for the visually impaired. You can't really see well, maybe you're blind. Well, what if you had AI glasses that could act as your eyes and talk to you in your earlobes and explain what's happening around you, what's coming up, red light, green light, all that kind of stuff? I think there's some real benefits there. Real benefits there. What about a live sign language translator? Maybe you're deaf and you can't really, well, you can't really hear. You can't hear. Having the ability to use these AI glasses as your eyes and ears and giving you a live transcription inside them, that's really powerful. That brings the next level of functionality to someone who has some sort of problem or issue there. I think that's big. What about an on-the-job AI coach for skilled trades? Can you imagine if you're new to a trade, you're new at the Ford dealership, whatever, and you're able to use these AI glasses as an on-the-job coach that kind of teach you, okay, you got to plug this in here, you got to ratchet that, you got to drain this, you got to check out that spark plug, etc. That is really, really powerful. In fact, I know someone who is already actively doing this. And I've talked about this. I'll post a link to this video here, but they're using AI glasses in all of their auto walkthroughs. He runs an auto mechanic, very popular auto mechanic shop, a whole region actually, and what they do is they have these AI glasses that they wear that video the entire walkthrough, and they're narrating, they're talking into these AI glasses, and those AI glasses, once the walkthrough is completed of the vehicle, sends all of that data over to an AI agent on a computer, and that computer does all the sourcing, the estimate, the proposal, it saves them tons and tons of time. He's just like, it's the most amazing thing ever. But taking that to the next level, well, what if those AI glasses were able to find things that the auto mechanic might miss, or maybe even challenge some of the ideas that auto mechanic could miss? But raise your hand. Have you ever had an auto mechanic that just can't seem to get it right? You just keep bringing your car back over and over and over. I had a problem in my car. It was making this noise. Have you ever had that before? The car making noise? Anyway, whenever I would go over 40 miles an hour, it would start to make this noise. And it sounded like it was coming from the AC, but we could not figure it out. We took it to the auto mechanic 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times, could not figure it out. I went to YouTube and started poking around. Within 10 minutes, I was able to figure out the problem. I live in Florida, and essentially the gaskets on my windshield had dried out, and when I would drive fast, the gasket would pop out and it would start flapping in the wind. I was able to figure that out, and I was able to use silicone. Well, what if the first time I took the car into the mechanic had some AI glasses that had access to the internet, to YouTube, this giant bank of information, and was able to kind of interpret that and give him in-person, on-the-job information. I just think that would be insanely, insanely powerful. And again, that is a way of really having some sort of impact in applying for a grant like this. And just quick, by the way, we're moving into a world now where a lot of people, just like you and me, need to reinvent ourselves. We need to find new skills and learn new trades, and the trades are blowing up. Well, AI wearables could help new, young, maybe growing skill sets adapt much more quickly. So I think that's a great, great use case, and you could start to think how that could play out over all sorts of different industries. For example, warehouse alerts. Maybe you've got all your guys in your warehouse that are wearing these AI wearables, and it's able to highlight problems and potential threats, hazards before they might even recognize them. Or, I just think about the electrical world. All my electricians out there, where are you at? Where are you at? I used to do electrical work. I'm HVAC certified. I worked in the HVAC world for a while. And man, I got zapped. I remember one day I was up on top of a Chili's, I believe it was, either Chili's or Sam's Club. Anyway, I was on top working on this big condensing unit on the roof of this building, and it touched the wrong thing. I got zapped by a capacitor. The capacitor, I guess, was holding a charge. I kind of screened everything with my ammeter, but at any rate, I got zapped. And I was like, this freaking sucks. Well, what if I had AI glasses that I was wearing that was able to say, hey, before you touch that run capacitor mark, you might want to just ensure that it's not holding some sort of charge in it. So that's another kind of use case. I think about it especially for electricians, where electrocution can be very, very dangerous. Another idea here, to be an AI tutor for ESL learners. My wife is a teacher, and she teaches young kids, and there's always one or two kids that are behind. They just have a hard time learning, maybe they don't read as well, and what happens in those cases is these kids end up dragging down the entire class, not because they're bad apples or bad kids, but because they don't have the same skills, they're not up at the same level of learning and knowledge as other kids in the class. Maybe they don't read as well, maybe there's a learning disability, they have to disrupt the class. It's a huge mess. It's a really, really big problem, especially when you see that teachers are managing 20, sometimes 25 kids in a classroom. There's always gonna be one or two kids that just disrupt everything, okay? Well, what if those kids that had some sort of learning disability or couldn't, they have English as a second language, what if you were able to give them AI glasses that could help them interpret what's happening on their level? That would be, life-changing for teachers, and also life-changing for those students who are struggling to keep up. So anyway, I put this all out there as a way of you kind of thinking about how AI wearables and AI glasses can really impact the workforce, and highlighted this, guys, this is a chance for you to make some bank, for you to get some capital injection into your business, your nonprofit, or your project. So listen, make sure to apply now if you're interested. Make sure to share this out now because the application timeline is limited. Applications close on March 9th. So either get applied or share this with someone who is using AI glasses in their business. Because I think that AI wearables, maybe, and I covered this in a video a couple weeks ago, I think AI wearables personally might be one of the biggest, most applicable, most kind of like visual, tangible changes to the way that we operate in the world using AI. I think there's a lot of really cool things that come from it. Whether it's Meta or Ray-Ban or Apple, I don't really care who, I'm not sold on anyone in particular. However, big changes, big opportunities, and Meta's putting cash into you if you can show that you've got some good ideas. Guys, if you enjoyed today's video, smash the like, and you will definitely like yesterday's video where we talked about the 40 jobs that are most at risk from AI. This is a Microsoft study, and it's pretty shocking. I was actually, number 7 was really, really surprising to me. Anyway, check out that video from yesterday. I'll see you there, boys. See ya, peace.